wedding band there.
Only the best wedding band.
You guys, welcome to another episode of the Soundwizard podcast.
How you doing, man?
Yay!
I think I want to pass my blabbering responsibilities on to John Paul. Everybody meet John Paul.
Starting right now?
Yeah, starting right now.
Howdy, I'm John Paul. Hey, all. We are a group of humans in Austin, Texas, who spend a lot of time in, on, and around music. This is a podcast called Soundwizards, started by True with Carter and Mike, and we are joined today by AJ and Rosie. I think I'm just going to jump in. Give us a little more of your name, the instrument you play, what you're touching right now in particular, and how do you know the other wizards in the room?
Okay, well, I'm AJ Vincent. I play keyboards, and I'm currently using my new Juno DS. And basically, I needed a synth that could kind of be on stage everywhere and just have all the routing options and everything. So I finally bought it, and I don't know it very well, but it's fun to jam with it and get to know it better. And then how I know everybody, well, kind of probably met True first. When did we jammed? We jammed at Mosaic.
Well, let's kick it for real. I mean,
well, you met my mom.
Yeah. So like, within the first conversation I had with her, she was like, "What kind of music are you into?" And then I was like, "Well, like kind of crazy rock and roll stuff." And she's like, "I think you and my son would get along." I think I even said, "Rosa, a lot of women say that to me, and I don't know how to respond to that, but I'll believe you." And then we did. We jammed, actually with Mike, right? This is in the Mosaic room that True had.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tall guy, that guy. Hell of a guy.
We'll
That
come
guy.
back around.
Hell of a drummer.
We'll edit this part out. Don't worry about it.
We did not mention yet, I don't think, that we are in a different studio today.
That's
The
correct.
home studio
Yes.
of Carter Greaves, and it's
Studio
B.
Studio B. I will take a second and explain what AJ's setup looks like for those who don't have eyes in this room. There's a keyboard with
Sorry, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pedals and a wah pedal. Is that right?
There's a wall in there, yeah.
And then all of those things are being piped into a Leslie cabinet. If you don't know what a Leslie cabinet is, it's basically like a Marshall cabinet that spins on its head. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's kind of an amazing setup. When he says I play keys, it kind of sounds like one thing, and when you look at it in real life, it's a way cooler and stranger thing.
I graduated from piano a while ago. I would say that.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have to carry that piano in here, by the way. Yeah, I guess I'm just talking now. So, what else is he supposed to answer, John?
it fit perfectly. Always keys?
Okay.
Is that what you learned first?
Yeah, I started when I was 5, and I wanted to play keys for some reason, and my parents were cool with it, and they made it happen. And basically, it just kind of slowly evolved from piano to like piano songwriting to like organ and Rhodes and piano, and then it just like evolved into synth.
Yeah, excited to hear more of that too. We have a theory that the foundation of music is rhythm. So we start with a jam to learn by. Mike, what'd you bring for us today?
I was gonna do an opso jam, but we just did that in the opening jam.
Sorry, buddy. It was just too cool.
Yeah, so I think the other thing how I practice endurance is I put on a jungle drumming or drum and bass kind of video on YouTube and just see how long I can go until my arms give out and I can't play anymore. So I'm going to play really fast today.
Okay.
And we're going to do a jungle, it's basically like this that kind of thing for hours. And
Sweet. I would just say grip it and rip it, and the rest of y'all
Can deal with it.
the wheel of influence.
Yay!
Now you are going to spin the wheel of influence.
Ba-ba-da-da.
It looks
Okay.
like something that spins, but it's actually just a button.
Does it actually click? What was the click?
Yeah, no, it
With the
clicks.
microphone, yeah.
I was like,
John's
are
got
they
it.
making that click sound in the room? Like, what is going
Spin
on?
it. I'm going to put it by your microphone because it'll pick up better.
All right, here
So
it
hold
goes.
it close.
Where's the?
That's the part we don't know.
Do it.
Down at the bottom.
There we go.
A memorable
Da-da-da.
live show. Well, I'd be lying.
Ooh, that's a new one. We haven't had that one
Wait,
yet.
what was it quick? What was it?
A memorable live show.
Ooh.
A memorable.
A
Memorable.
memorial of a live
I like
show.
Memorable.
Summer memorial in. Well, the immediate one that comes to mind was Festival d'été in Quebec City, and I was at the time playing with the Bright Light Social Hour, keyboards and vocals. This was in 2012, and we were playing the big festival. It's like their big summer festival, and a bunch of bands play. And it was Aerosmith, Our Lady Peace, and then we opened, and
Nice.
it makes me like fucking quiver thinking about it. But basically, like, it was estimated 80 to 100,000 people, and it was by far
Nice.
like the
Crap.
biggest show of my life.
Oh my god.
And it was just mind-blowingly large. I went on such like an adrenaline trip that it was just like I have very little memory of the show itself. It was just like such a rush that it was just like at the end of it I was just like poof, and all of a sudden I was looking out. I had this like weird white shirt on, and they started the front of the crowd started chanting Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Not helping
And-
in front of the crowd.
And like, and it was weird. It was a very weird moment for me, and it was a really proud moment to achieve, and stuff. And it took a lot of work, but like,
Chief.
Jesus, that is pretty bad.
no, but it was the funniest moment for me was that like, I got done with the set, and we were just like mind blown, like, whoa, and it was also funny to watch our little van pull up next to Aerosmith's like 18-wheelers. It was like 4 RVs, like 3
Nice.
18-wheelers,
Each
and
person
we're
in the
like.
band has their own
So we
RV.
took a picture of our tiny little van. Anyway,
that's
so I got done with the set, and Our Lady Peace was gonna set up. So I got done, and I was just like, I walked off. I couldn't really fucking breathe. But it was just, I came back on to get my gear, and people started screaming, and I thought Our Lady Peace just came on stage, and I like looked behind me, and I was just like. It's like they're not there, and I look back and they're like, "Woo!" And I was like, "Where the fuck's the band then? Like, why are they?" It's like, and then it dawned on me that they actually liked it so much that they were just kind of like, they're like, "Dude, that was awesome!" And I have fans that were at the front of the crowd, like I'm still Facebook friends with them and stuff, and they're like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And they were just, and that's like where we met at the show. So that was like, but definitely, like that's the one there, and it was a blast.
Can you describe the moment you look out? I've never played anything that big, but played some bigger shows. Bigger show for me was like 2,000 people.
It's a lot of people.
My knees
2,000.
shake uncontrollably. I have to stand at a very large, put my feet very far away from each other so that my knees don't knock. If it's that big.
Yeah, it was almost so like it was hard to comprehend big to where it was almost easier in that regard, but it was like I had the advantage of being on tour for a couple weeks at that time, so I was like really like tuned in to where I didn't have to like worry about what we were gonna play or anything. So it was just like it was just like takeoff. It was the most high I've been on stage ever. It was just like it was such a rush. Like I said, it was drug like to where I'm just like, yeah, I don't remember what I did, honestly. It was just it just happened and then it stopped.
all that energy has to be unimaginable. I mean,
Yeah.
the energy
It's
of 80 to 100,000
huge.
people.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
it goes like
God.
way back there, and they had like speaker racks for people in the backpack, the last
Wow.
40K, and it's just like I was just like,
Did you hang out with Aerosmith?
no, he was like Steven Tyler was literally like from me to that, like 5 feet away, and that dude he's like, it's him, and I'm just like walking by, and I'm just like looking at him, I was like, so that's the fucking dude. and he's just like chatting with his crew guy, and like the pianos and stuff are all around, and I was like, well, there he is. And then like, of course, everybody with us, because we had like moms and parents and stuff come out. And so they're like totally speechless, like fan moment where they're like, we're like, well, there he is, and they're just like locked into position there, and they're like, I can't believe we're next to this guy. So it was a trip.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was super fun. We took a bunch of whiskey shots afterwards.
Yeah.
And how a good story ends.
That's awesome.
Rosie.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. I'm going to spin the wheel of influence. Oh. Click, click.
Boom.
Ever given up music and why? This is an interesting question. Yes, I actually did give up music for about 2 years. I had been playing music, I guess, live and professionally since I was about 10 years old. I had a band called OMG. It was the best band ever. And
OMG?
OMG, legitimate. Yeah. We played at Hanover's and at the Pecan
Nice.
Street Festival. Yeah, no. So no, I've been playing music for a very long time. I did School of Rock for a number of years, and continued, and I graduated high school, and I don't know. I guess it was a period of my life where kind of things were going to shit, and everything, including music, kind of lost itself. I completely burned out. I was doing a lot, and I quit the band I was in, which was actually Moving Panoramas. I left after being there for 3 years, and barely picked up an instrument in that time. I went to school for a little while, did college for a little bit, and tried doing some music stuff. Like I tried taking a songwriting class, I tried taking a audio engineering class, and just couldn't. I don't know. I guess it was a mental mindset. I couldn't put myself back into music. I was still listening to music and still kind of exploring and discovering new things, but it really wasn't until, I guess, last summer that I kind of, I don't know, I guess I just woke up one day and I've been itching to play a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until finally one day I was like, I think I might try this again. And it was actually really great. That summer, Leslie from Moving Panoramas had reached out to me because we hadn't talked in a little while. She reached out to me and we had lunch and caught up, and she was basically like, look, if you ever want to come back, just let me know.
Yeah.
What was the moment? Giving up there's so many reasons, and actually the moment probably in which you decided is a very complex moment.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do in some regard is to explain that emotive process so that when somebody is in that time in their life, they have something else to grab a hold of, because it can feel very lonely, and so can you elaborate a little bit more on where you were in your own life when you made that choice and what was impressing upon you?
Sure. Yeah. So I was about 20, and we had just finished our first big tour, and it was a 2 tours. One was 6 weeks, and then we were off for about a week, and then we did another 4-week tour. And I guess emotionally, I was kind of just done. I was completely burned out. The same thing kind of happened to me in high school with education and grades and trying to be the best all the time. Very much a perfectionist. And so...
You're not attaining that by whatever the standard is that you have in your head?
I don't know if it was even that. I think I just lost complete and utter joy for it. I didn't like it anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore. It didn't make me happy, which was weird for me because it was always something that it completely made. That was my life. It was everything that I wanted to do since I was a kid. And I don't know if it had become mentally like more work or if it had, but something was gone. The spark was gone, and I fully had to take myself away from it for quite a while, for about about 2 years, in order to come back to it and appreciate it more. And to be honest, I love it more now than I ever have. Like, even with the hecticness of everything, it's exactly where I want to be. Socially, my peers were all going to college. They were all at the point of almost graduating. And I was still like, I don't really know what I want to do. And I tried on a bunch of different hats because when I stopped, I think I changed majors at school 3 or 4 times, just trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. And eventually I ended up not finishing and going back to music, which is
Welcome to the club.
not going to necessarily recommend it. I know it worked for me. I found that the academic approach to things was not where I am right now, and that this is where I want to be. And so,
Your own academic approach.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
new time where everyone's right.
Yeah, exactly. This is a much more fun academic approach.
Oh man.
I mean, I think you're making great. You're 23.
I'm 23.
You're a badass
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
I mean, you've been on the
Thanks.
road.
Firecracker for
You
sure.
know, multiple instruments. That's really fucking cool. I'm 23. I think I was drinking and playing Smash Brothers. I think that's,
Which I still do.
Yeah, Rosie's like
So
that.
that is
but there was no
Tuesday
music.
nights.
That's what was missing.
Actually, for me, it's a Wednesday and Sunday night D&D sessions. So that
Can I
is.
get invited to that?
Twice
Can I
a
get
week.
We've
Yeah.
been trying to do a game night forever.
What
Yeah.
area of town are you in? South?
No, I'm north.
North.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, my porch.
but I can move.
Okay.
I can
John
travel.
Paul's porch or Truce Pool, whatever
True.
ends up
Who's
happening.
It's hard to play a game in a pool.
Floating in the
That's
pool.
the big
Fucking-
thing.
Oh shit!
Fucking
I might have to try my.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
I've been wanting to.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to try my hand at DMing. So.
You'd be the most experienced.
Can you dress up like a wizard?
I have, so here's the thing is I'm actually going to the Renaissance Festival this weekend, so I have been putting together my full pirate outfit,
Alright.
all complete with this really cool,
Wizard hat.
no, it's actually a custom made,
Nailed it.
Cavalier hat with a huge plume off of it. Oh no,
Cavalier? Or?
no,
Big old
like,
Chevy hat.
it's like, you're almost like Three Musketeers hat, kind
That's
of.
sick.
But it's got a pheasant feather on it, and and I've got a plethora. My uncle is a medieval weapons enthusiast, so for
That's
Cool.
sick.
so for my 18th birthday, he
Rosie,
gave
you're gonna break
me.
some hearts
I'm
with
excited.
this
Yeah.
There's a lot of nerds out
What
there
sort of
going,
weapon can we visualize? What are you holding in that world?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. So he gave me a rapier for my 18th birthday.
That's
So.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be in full garb, and we were actually joking in the band. Leslie was like, yeah, we might have a show on the 30th. I'm like, that's cool. I'll be at the Renaissance Festival, so I'm down for it as long as I can stay dressed up like a pirate.
Yes.
So,
That's the deal.
that's the deal.
The next
Oh,
phase
shit.
of this evening shall be the improvisation and art of the jam. The important thing to note is this is a two-part jam, so I'm gonna keep the first part of this jam kind of short. And AJ, you're gonna give us the suggestion that starts it off. What we're trying to do is find a good groove and establish parts or movement, and then I'll end it and we'll change it a little bit. But right now, we need from you a suggestion, a mood or a phrase, a
Okay,
key,
you warned
feeling.
me moments ago,
Yeah.
and I was scrambling for an idea. And this is what I came up with. What would it sound like if we're on Mars, right? And okay, well, it's cool if this is not gonna work. So let me know if it doesn't. What would it sound like? What would be the vibe? It's all completely fantasy fiction, so bear with me.
Okay.
We're on Mars. We live in one city on Mars, and there's another city on Mars, and we're having a road trip
Okay.
from one city to the other.
Nice.
And so imagine we're in our bubbles on Mars, and we have to get in our suits. We get in our suits, and we hop in whatever rover, I guess, not a car, obviously. We go down the
Definitely not
the Mars Interstate, whatever that is. What would that? What's the playlist to that
Oh shit.
drive?
What's the music sound for that
Martian
drive?
road drive
Yeah.
playlist.
Yeah.
So I'll try to interpret what you're saying.
So we're in our suits, in our craft, hanging out, smoking, obviously somehow,
What I hear is it's like the I-10 drive between
pulling
Austin.
ourselves up with our oxygen tank.
It's like the I-10 drive between Austin and LA, but on Mars. Is that does that sound like what
Yeah,
you're
it's
saying?
nothing. It's not an insane drive. Just a couple hours. We have to make it from point A to point B, but it's on Mars, and we have these fresh Mars tunes we're jamming.
Okay.
Fresh
think so.
Mars, dude.
Mars is real bouncy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I feel
Yeah,
like
what
it's
the
a
hell
red
does that
planet.
sound
It's-
like?
To me, it's like desert rock. That's what I'm
Kind of,
like
yeah.
Caius.
Yeah.
But there might be zombies. I watched a movie once about zombies on Mars.
What was that like?
Mars Attack.
It had the guy that
I've seen
played.
that one.
It's a good movie. No, it was a British movie. I was in oh goodness, where was I? I was in North Yorkshire, England, on a study abroad thing for
Just said
school.
not U.S.
Yes. And it was this movie where it had the guy that played Sabretooth in the Wolverine movies.
Not Wolverine.
Yeah, the other one, the other guy. But yeah, and there was like, they were these astronauts and they were going into the space station thing, and then this virus from Mars broke into it and killed them all, and then he like blew himself up so that he would spread it. We need a pen. That's a good idea. So, Alien Road Trip on Mars.
legit song.
Oh, yeah.
That was fucking fun. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, high fives. All right.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you, Rosie. You were the bravest of us all.
That was-
AJ, thank
that
you
was
for carrying
cool.
us. Mike,
I'm just screaming
thank
shit.
you for making me feel good.
All right, I got questions.
Great job,
All right,
Rosie.
AJ.
Hell
Yeah.
Thank you.
We heard like the.
Great job, AJ.
Well, what are you doing with the music currently?
What
Party
am
Wolf. What else? Or talk to us more about Party Wolf.
Basically, right now, the main two things I'm doing is obviously the Party Wolf stuff. I'm just releasing songs and playing shows and doing the thing. And then the Matt Gilmore band, I've been in for, well, probably a couple years now. And basically it's a 3-piece, and we do a bunch of crazy stuff. And we were running with a 4-piece with a bassist, but then we kind of noticed that our jams as a 3-piece was kind of different and had a bit of a different vibe. And so we were kind of gravitating towards it, and eventually a bassist left, and we were just like, well, maybe we'll just jam. So basically now it's like a ton of synth bass, and a bunch of stuff, guitar, drums, vocal harmonies and stuff. But we launched tracks with an SPD and stuff like that, so I bury synths. So I
What?
play some synths live, and then I bury
Sounds
other
like you
synths.
just shot on Russia in the open waters. SMB, what did you say?
the SPD, it's like a tradition. It's like a drum pad thing.
You got
that
checked for
synths-
that? Or
Dude, I'm sorry, I
should.
should. But I mean, you like they're the common little
Yeah.
rolling drum pad thing, and you can throw whatever sample you want. So we just
So when you hit a pad, it makes a sound that you pre-choose.
yeah, and you can either just launch a one-shot sample or whatever, or you can basically tie those samples to a click, and I'll like build it in Ableton. Like I'll build the bass for the thing, because I can't play like 3 synths and bass at the same time. So whatever I can't
Really?
play becomes.
Jeez, why not?
I'll try.
I mean, you
but,
are
like,
technically.
I can
because
play-
you
I can
recorded
play-
it
yeah,
previously,
yeah,
and
I
I
then
can play both
making it
synths
happen.
at the same time, but having that bonus hand, basically, so I'll basically build layers, and the drummer Danny will then sync that in the SPD. So he hears the click, we don't, and he launches the tracks. For instance, like it's like 2, 3, and he hits something on like 3 or 4, and it comes around quantized on the 1 to where it's like 2, 3, hits it, and all of a sudden the bass like hits on the next one that happens.
Yeah.
And so he's synced up back there, and he launches it like that, and it's just crazy. So I can do so many layers, and I can just like,
That's so
Nice.
cool.
you know, flush it out. And you know, I got over the whole backing track things a long time ago, like, and it's simply because of the way the nature of synths are. Like I can't filter stuff and filter this and do that all at the same time. So it's kind of like I do as much as I can, and then just like the rest of it just fucking flies. You know what I mean?
I think it's incredible. I mean, you know, there's a weird thing that you're explaining there that I think we should take another second and talk about, because you know, what you're doing is you're writing a song with a band first and foremost. So the weird thing we just did that took us, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I don't know,
More.
an hour.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
16 days.
It took about 6 minutes.
Yeah. that you know that thing is pretty hard to do. So then you're taking that and then digging into it and making it better. And not only making it better by
Adding
just
layers.
writing more parts, but you're also then taking those parts and figuring out how to set them up to one trigger, so that your drummer in a live setting can go click, click, trigger, start, and
Yeah.
then everyone all of a sudden has a bass and some other things and another
Like your
instrument.
string synths and
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff, but it's supposed to mix directly with the Leslie mix, so it's like you're not supposed to hear the string synth by itself. So it's like all very buried and like layered and all that stuff.
When you see a band on Saturday Night Live, there's a whole crew of people doing what you're talking about, and their jobs are to do that. So there's maybe 2 or 3 people who are sitting behind computers or MPC pads or right like
It's like launching
yeah,
stuff.
they're alive. That's exactly what they're doing.
Managers.
For
Shout
real,
out to
man.
Tycho.
For real. There's a whole industry of people who are doing that for popular artists that you don't ever see.
Like
And-
they're
and-
behind the stage.
yeah,
Yeah.
and what's really cool about what you're talking about is that you're doing it in a live setting with a small band, a 3-piece, and you guys have figured out how to include that sound to your live performance that It's pretty amazing. It
Professional
really.
quality.
It's,
Yeah.
Dude, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. You just
Don't
bounce
say
it
that.
out.
Don't
It's
say that at
fun
the
to
end of
see.
that. Say it's the hardest thing in the world.
It's fun to see.
And you should hire you to do it for $1,000 an hour. Does that sound too much nowadays?
Just
We all
bounce
go
it
to a
out.
lot of shows and it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
That's
that.
true.
Fair,
You
fair.
guys just look like you're.
Yeah.
Oh, the story from earlier, right? That time when you jumped up in the air and flopped on your back in the middle of a breakdown.
Amazing. Yeah, that was yeah.
That was
a crazy day.
Wasn't that
Crazy
a
day.
swan dive last
I
weekend?
broke all the bones in my body.
Well, we got pretty clean and objective there, and it was enjoyable. But I'm going to get meta. What's the current goal
Ooh.
of your music?
Personally, right?
Yeah, personally. And actually, if you want to think about it, you could tell us where we could listen to the Matt Gilmore Band as well.
Oh, well, we have the mattgilmoreband.com, and it's on Spotify and all that stuff. We also have a Twitch channel for the band, and we do a lot of performances, and we'll stream practices and stuff like that. But yeah, we just released a 3-song little demo EP thing called 2, and we actually did it ourselves, so that was exciting.
Nice.
And also extremely nerve-wracking, as you know, and you're just like, does it sound good?
Yes.
It's crazy, but so we just did all that, so check that out. And then, like I said earlier, I just released a single for Party Wolf. You can find that everywhere. Love Will Take Us Far, also space themed. And then
Goal.
the goal of music, music is by far the only thing in the world for me that there's an infinite patience for it, to where it never gets old, I don't know, there's nothing else in the world like this for me, but it's it literally has some sort of infiniteness to it, to where
All the
I could
wizards
just...
are bobbing their head right now.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
wizards in the room are like,
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about, bro.
So it's to me, it's very natural, to where it's I see it as something that I can just do very, very, without, it just comes very naturally. So it's one of those things where I look at that well, if I can do this naturally, then I can kind of improve the songs and do the whole thing. Like I said earlier, the ultimate point is as a human that also goes to shows and festivals and likes to dance and go crazy at shows, I really want people to if they're gonna pay money to go see anybody's show, you gotta step up to the plate first and foremost there. But then it's I want them to not forget it, and really I guess the ultimate goal for my music is to give people those memories where remember when we danced our asses off and it was all crazy, we were drunk and it was and then they remember it for years, yeah, remember, that was such a fun night. But it's giving people the energy via music to set all that chain reaction off, to where it sets the room off, everyone's dancing, but then it becomes the reward for working all fucking week. Everyone works all week, works your ass off, whatever. Musicians work every single day of the week, and it's kind of if you're gonna go to the show, it's entertainment for your life, and if this is supposed to break the monotony of work and everything that's hard and all that stuff, you gotta deliver that and give someone that memory, that moment, to where oh, what a relief from life, that was a blast, and they wake up the next day all stoked about it. That's the point to me as a musician, is that's my role in the world, is to give people that, to where they just I like life. Life's fun
Hell
with
yeah.
these.
Hey,
These
man.
shows are dope as fuck.
The guy that calls himself Party Wolf just wants you to have a good time.
Literally, yeah.
But
I think that's the name of the podcast this day is Entertainment for Life.
And the
Yeah.
funny part is, the moments we remember are the ones that AJ's talking about.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
that's the shit
You
that...
hold them super
Yeah.
dear, You're
Yeah.
just like Justice at ACL this past year. Dude, that was a life-changing show for me. I want to do that for people.
Yeah, I saw Perfect Circle at the Austin City Music Hall in 2001, September
That's
14th,
sick.
I think.
Yeah.
And it was the first lineup with
Okay,
Paz.
yeah.
And it was I'd never seen Tool before that point, and Maynard was the lead singer or whatever. But I still remember a lot of that show because it's so ingrained into my So
Yeah,
I totally.
it's so vivid.
John Paul, what's a show that ingrained itself in your mind? In the mic. I want to hear all the noises in the mic.
Yeah. Fuck. Emery,
Really?
when they were playing The Wall.
Whoa.
And Warped Tour. in
Whoa.
Detroit.
Nice.
That is crazy. I know those guys.
They're one of my favorite bands.
They're amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty sweet.
yeah, hell yeah. And this was 2005.
Nice.
I think they're one of the
Warped
only
Tour,
they're
yeah.
one of the first bands in my life that every record they produced I liked. That there's like 4 or 5 bands in that time in my life where they were all making records. I think I loved every record of theirs. They did a great job. What's the even the really
The question.
Yeah, the question was
yeah.
great.
But Rosie, I'm gonna throw it back at you.
Oh.
What are you doing with your music currently? We have a good idea because we've had you before. So if you want to build in also, what are you doing with your music currently, as well as what's a kind of goal of yours?
Yeah, definitely. So currently I am playing guitar for Moving Panoramas. We just released about, I guess, a little over a month ago now, our second record. It's called N2, and that has been doing pretty well and going pretty far, so it's been a lot of fun. Currently my goal, whale. I really want to work on my guitar playing. So guitar is the last instrument I picked up, and it is something that I've never been like 100% comfortable with. I always preferred bass. Bass was my safe spot, and so whenever I had to play guitar, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Can I play rhythm guitar, please? And so now I'm really wanting to step out of my comfort zone and work on my leads. I started taking this really cool online class that is teaching me slide guitar, because there may be some instances that are really cool, awesome pedal steel player, Phil McJunkins, may not be able to make it for some shows, and so my goal is to be able to mimic what he's doing on pedal steel on guitar. And so either that, or he's also going to start teaching me pedal steel. So
That's also just a sweet
shit.
Yep.
That's
to do on
badass.
a guitar what a pedal steel does
Yep.
is
Yeah.
alone
Yeah.
a pretty cool goal.
that's my goal. And so it's like,
If you could also
okay.
play pedal steel, that would just be
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
I mean, I'm totally up for it. I would so love to just add to the collection of things, because I think it's all, every
Yeah.
instrument's a little bit different, and it's fun. It's like a
Also, if you
good
wanna-
hobby.
Play an instrument on a movie, pedal steel's the one you should learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
We're looking for you.
Rosie, I'm so impressed. Every time I play next to you, I'm so impressed with how good you are at picking up between all of the other instruments. Really,
Well,
every
thank
time
you.
I'm like looking at you going, I don't know how she's dealing with all the shit I'm throwing at her right now, but she seems to be doing well.
I don't
so-
even know how I'm dealing with all this
yeah,
shit.
really, yeah. But I would say that you should. The next time you come back, let's switch. I'll stay mostly on bass, and you stay mostly on guitar.
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's a good goal.
Good.
A worthy challenge.
Yeah.
Also, we just hit our 180-minute mark in
Oh,
this recording.
All right.
I like it a lot, but it's.
Let's
I'm-
switch. Let's
I'm
do the jam to
inclined-
different.
Yes, and actually, hold up, because the idea here, and Drew can fill me in more, we're trying to challenge ourselves to sound different. So we're going to significantly change the format, and just so none of you, so you're all equally surprised,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have Carter give us the impetus for this jam. What you
Oh,
want,
Ooh.
what instrument, what vibe are you feeling, etc.
That's awesome. Let me get a beer while I worry about this.
I'd say Rosie,
Oh,
grab
geez.
a guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems fitting.
All right, that works.
Yeah.
AJ, do you want any vocals? Because your keys and vocals player.
Yeah.
Really, if it was between keys, vocals, and drums, I would probably switch to drums.
Oh,
Even though,
Let's take it.
even though I'm not very
AJ
good at
No, no,
drums.
drums,
just, that's perfect.
Yeah.
This
and
is-
I'm
Yeah.
probably even worse on a
This is
key.
about-
Mike, surprisingly, to me at least, I know he was a keyboard wizard until the last podcast.
That was,
He
I had a
liked
Moog. I had a Moog
Yeah.
to work with, so I didn't really
Well,
have to do a
that-
whole lot.
I believe that we are friends. I see where we befriend each other in the world of large. The edges of the planets meet, and we found all of our feet in the beautiful sea of Eve. find your way, find a tree, find your way down to the sea. We are
I don't know what that means.